We often hear the phrase justice delayed is justice denied. Well, right now, hundreds of victims of alleged sexual assaults are still waiting for that justice.
That's because evidence collected from their bodies after the attacks are still waiting to be sent out of state to be processed. One reason for the delay: funding to pay for that processing, which Cumberland County's district attorney applied for and got millions in federal grant money to tackle the backlog. Here's News Center Maine's Leanne Stapleton.
And I started asking questions about whether Maine had a backlog of rape kits and realized pretty quickly that no one knew, which told me that we did.
Which is why the Cumberland County District Attorney's Office applied for and got a $2.5 million U.S. Department of Justice grant. DA Jacqueline Sartor says that money will be used over the next 3 years.
Getting this grant will enable us to really kind of supercharge our efforts to take these cases seriously, to tell victims that we believe them, and to make sure that we are investigating and prosecuting cases wherever possible.
To apply for the grant, an estimate was needed of just how many rape kits were still waiting to be processed. Sartor says there are around 500 untested kits in Cumberland County alone. A surprise for those who are waiting for the next steps in their case.
We also know from an informal survey of more recent victims of sex assault is that they believe that those kits are being tested normatively.
Sartor also says getting the kits tested could also help police in identifying and arresting repeat offenders.
And the other prosecutorial districts that have done this work is they have found between 12 and 15% of their kits actually are tied to other sex assaults. So one of the things that bothers me the most about having these outstanding kits is, had we done that testing in real time, we may have actually prevented other sex assaults which have already occurred.
Earlier this year, the Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault received $90,000 to set up a pilot program to track rape kits in Kennebec and Penobscot counties. Carly Fisher with MICASA says though funding for this kind of work is needed, it's a stopgap.
This on grant funding is helpful in the short term, but is ultimately not a long-term or a sustainable solution. And so to that end, it's critically important that the state step up and address these issues within the state budget.
Maine is one of a few states without a state inventory and tracking system for rape kits. However, there was a bill working its way through the legislature to implement one, but it failed to pass.
Bill would have required over $300,000 a year in funding to the lab to be able to test everything and make sure that we don't get another backlog.
For now, Cumberland County will use its funds to inventory, track, and test eligible kits.
And going to investigating, contacting victims where appropriate, making sure that victims have the opportunity to be heard, doing that investigation, and then proceeding to a prosecution if we believe that the evidence supports prosecution.
All the while hoping to lead by example for other counties looking to follow suit. Leanne Stapleton, News Center, Maine.
The Cumberland County DA's office has 3 years to use the grant money. Once the DA's office actually receives it, the first 6 months will be spent performing a detailed inventory of the hundreds of untested rape kits it now has. Remember, if you or anyone you know has been the victim of sexual assault, there is help available. The Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault has a free 24/7 hotline. That number is 1-800-871-7741, or you can simply dial 711.